How are you, my friend? Before we start, don't forget to pray for the prophet and like and subscribe to the channel to get you all new. Wilabina are beginning today with someone drowning in the sea and resisting, until he comes to the beach and he will be very tired and thirsty. He moves in the forest to find any source of single water. But unfortunately, when it arrives, a crocodile comes out of it, and his structures were continuing his way in the forest, and he starts collecting fruit from the trees. But when he comes out of the woods, he falls to the ground, and before he finds me, someone stomped on his hand, and with him they caught him and took him to the city market and offered him among the slaves for sale. And as soon as he breaks his hand, he attacks them and hits the soldiers, the one who is around him, and runs away quickly. Takes place between him and the soldiers along the city. Somewhat one of death can hit his leg and knock him. But fortunately for him, you see a Señorita Maria de Torres, and the one who defends him without thinking. But one of the soldiers hit him in the head and lost promise. And when he was above, he would find himself on a bed. And the story is trying to reassure him, and they know that his life is now safe, because Señorita Maria paid the money to the merchants, and no one will arrest him again, and also brought food and a group of therapeutic herbs. He said he would try to repay La Señorita, but she got into it at the same time, and she told him that she needed such a task. Adum handed him over to her father, and I told him that it is temporary until they buy new clothes. He went out with her on the carriage and knew from her that her father was working with the king. He's building a river that protects the city. At the same time, one of the soldiers arrived at the king's hall with the head of the Al-Darib mosque. He said that the king of the city of Lara was the one who did this, after he refused to pay the tribute, and we will go to the princess, who will be. She prepares herself with her servants, because King Haji is sitting with him this week. But because of what happened, King, I sent her a messenger, and he said that he can't come, because of the circumstances of the kingdom. This is what she decided that she would let him pay the wish that he was doing this. And then we go back to Taos, the one who arrives with Maria to the river construction area, meet her father. But he remembered an old memory, as if he knew her father before that. And when they sit down to eat, her father starts asking him about his life. What is brought here? He said he was a soldier, but his ship sank and he miraculously survived. When he reached the forest, the slave traders arrested him. When he tried to run away from them, Maria paid them the money. And before they complete the words of a messenger from the king, quickly Fernando came out to meet him. And he knew that the king ordered him to gather any soldiers he had, no fight, so that they will attack the kingdom of Lara, because of her violation of the royal tribute laws. And the second day of the army was gathering. And the king seemed to say enthusiastic words and curse in the kingdom of Lara. And their command is that they must prepare psychologically and physically, to the extent that the army already seemed to move. At the same time, the princess was standing and upset with him, but she was spitting on someone in the situation. Strange looks, and then we know they're having an affair. Also, the princess was pregnant, and I don't know what to do, but it was clear that she had a plan. As for Fernando, he also collected all the soldiers he has, including them, and went out with them to join the king's army. When they were on the way, Salem, the king's brother, joined the army with 10,000 soldiers to support the king's army. At night, Cantaus was sleeping and seemed to dream of old memories. It will be a house that burns, and someone in the middle of the day kills his father. But the dream is not clear because the memories of mania will be distorted. In the morning, the battle between the two kingdoms begins. Army will be ready with all its weapons, but it was clear that the army of the kingdom in which Taos, he is the strongest because of their integration of the artillery defense system, also attacked by swords and guns. The army of the kingdom of Lara seemed to retreat until they reached the sea. And at that time it was clear the strength of twice who seemed to kill them, one behind the other. He could also save a soldier named Tong from certain death. After the end of the day, they were able to kill all the soldiers of the kingdom of Lara, win the war. At the same time, the princess was preparing a plot against the king. You call Fernando and convince him that he is doing it all she wants, in exchange for the amount of gold he will take. And we go back to Tongan house, and those who will be training and shooting near the king's tent. Suddenly a tribe appears and attack them, and the king comes out quickly to defend himself. Tong and Taos were standing protecting themselves and their king, and as soon as the support arrived, they would kill all their attackers. But strangely enough, the king's advisor said that these are ordinary tribes, and there is no interest in them attacking us. And the chancellor confirmed to the king he is going to the reason that made them come for him. And then the king liked Tongan house, their papers, so that they can be his personal guards. When the army returns to the queen, the celebrations begin. But at night the princess meets her lover, and she says that she found a solution to enter the palace at the time he wants. She convinced the king she will choose the new court administrator, and she decided to appoint him to this position. As for Maria and House, they started to get close to each other and dance together. They also watched the kingdom's celebrations of victory. At this time, Tao seemed close to Marina and began to love each other. And then Tao said that he would always be next to her, but he has something to do. The first is that it revolves around the one who killed his father. And the signs he turns on are a merchant ship. She was moving from Lisbon. The name of the ship is this grandfather, and at this moment her father comes out. And he has one on. He saw a red flag and took Maria and said to Taushe, "Thank you for reaching it." And Maria was upset with what he said. He also regretted that he said it like this. And please, how many days do they talk to each other? Until I saw a cattle ship in the sea and thought he was walking. She was upset. But he appears behind her and said that he will never leave her. And when Maria returns home, her father says that she wants to prepare herself. Because Hesafro, Portugal, this time is not for work or tourism. He knew they'd live there. And he said that he will be very rich in the coming period, and you will buy the best house in Portugal, and you will buy it the best dresses. As for Queen Sudas, she takes one of the guards with her awareness. You go to a witch in the mountain, and I told her that she wants poison. Why does it have any taste or smell? Magic began to prepare it, and his intention was to take gold coins. She also took the pin in her hair, but when the queen came out of her, she ordered the soldier with her to kill her. But the witch knew, so she decided she was running away quickly. On the same day at night, a handsome gang appears and moves towards the king's palace to kill him. Indeed, one of them can enter the king's court without anyone taking suite, but the king felt it, pulled speed, and hit the alarm. Quickly, all the king's soldiers entered. Of course, the guards Tung, Taus, and Badao are defending. About him, Bastamata and Taus wanted to arrest anyone in them, to guide them to those who planned to kill the king. But when he grabbed the last one and said, "Drop your weapon," he decided to kill himself, and then the king shook them, and they said that you are 2 days ahead, so that you know who is behind all this. And when Taus reveals what he wants, he found out he was the same person who was out of Fernando's house. And then I confirmed that he is the one behind the plan to kill the king. And along took a few of the king's soldiers and went to the house of Fernando. Maria was surprised by what he was selling. But after the search, they came out of the gold that was taken from the princess. And then make sure that he is the one behind everything. He told Maria she didn't know everything about her father, and came out an old paper with her real father's name. Twist took the soldiers and walked to catch him. And he left him at the river that he was building on the outskirts of the city, and he said it to every need. He also said that he knew that he was the one who killed his father. After what saw his name in the document, and his name was Flavier. At that time he started telling him the whole story, and he said that he and your father were drunk. Even he does not remember what is the reason for the strangulation. And he said that your father was the one who threatened me. If I hadn't paid for myself, he would have killed me. I know that it was one of the first things he saw, and he felt that he had seen it before. He also said that he lived his life and changed in his old life to live in peace, and he was about to travel to Portugal, but everything was because of you. And they started attacking each other. Although Flavier wanted to kill him, but Twice wanted to catch him alive, until Tong arrived with support, and when Flavor saw a designer kill Twice, he hit him with the fez in the back. Twice was upset that he was killed and left, and then Flavier turned his wife's ring. And he said it to Maria while she would understand. And then Taos Fazil blames Tong for killing him, because they don't know who incited him. The king's life is in danger, but the soldiers said they caught a witch. She was trying to run away in the woods with gold pieces. Taos began questioning her. Somewhat he seemed to understand that the queen saw a calamity and quickly go to the palace, but at the same time she used to put poison in the king's tea. But unfortunately for her and one of the servants, she saw her doing this. When the tea entered the king, he began to drink it. At the end of the Cuban, he saw traces of green color and knew that it was poison. But too late, she also ordered one of her soldiers and kills the king's little son while he sleeps. And when the queen heard the sound of the palace, she went out and saw the desert while she was with Tong. And Taos Gamar, her soldiers, kill her. She also accused Tong and Taos of being involved in the king's murder, and I ordered them imprisoned until the king interrogates them. And when she entered the king's court and met him dying, she began to represent them. When she approached him, she held her hands. He wanted to tell them that she was the one behind his death. But she embraced him and began to strangle him and curse him when she was sure that he was dead. After minutes, the soldiers brought his son while he was killed, and I preferred to cry at them both. And the second day, at the funeral, I ordered the execution of a large number of servants in the palace. She also ordered the arrest of a large number of people, including Maria, charged with rebellion, and you are beginning to get rid of anyone possible, even in a small percentage. He reveals her, and Maria meets Taos in prison, and you will not be able to withstand it because it is the reason for everything that happened from an inevitable fate. Instead of thanking her, he destroyed her life and caused the death of her father. Gave her her mother's ring, and he said that your father took me and said that you will understand. And he knew her that the one behind everything that happens is the queen. And the second day you stand 6 and let one read the king's will, who was recommending the state of his son after his death. But since his son is also killed, the decision is in her hands. That's why I invented a story about a vision I saw. The king asks her to appoint the wise man of the city, and who is at the same time her love, and of course he worked himself surprising, and he basically knows the plan. He stood by her. The coronation ceremony took place. He remains the king of the city. During the ceremony, the new king decided it makes the ceremony more exciting. Tong and Taos got out of prison and left them facing each other to the point of death. Who will win? They will execute him in a compassionate way. But Tong and Taos didn't want to kill each other. But the king decided the task was difficult, and outtimes Tong and his children. They threatened that he would kill them if they did not abide by the rules of fencing. Same thing with Taos. He gave up his threat to kill Maria, and they started because of pressure on them to duel each other, until they signed some weapons, and they started jousting with hands. In a moment they winked to each other, and hold the weapons and limit them to the king and queen. But fortunately for Alsadas, the sword is not in it. But the new king, who still has no day in power, will be killed. And as soon as I saw the blood, I was terrified, and she decided to go down and kill them herself. But at the last moment, Salem, the king's brother, appears, and he said that he knew that she was the one who killed his brother and nephew, and he has proof. And 2 servants showed up, who escaped from the palace after they saw the queen putting poison in tea. Who is going to the king and Kamar Salem's soldiers? They execute her and throw her body outside the city. After that, the one who was imprisoned because of the plot to kill the king was released. And here the movie concludes. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to get you all new. Hello.